9 years ago this week, back in 1992, one of the top hits in the USA was I'm Too Sexy, by the only act we know of, led by a pair of bodybuilders, singing and dancing bodybuilders. I'll have details and that top hit after this.
Casey's Coast to Coast. Casey's Top 40.
Dancing in at number 31, here's this week's highest debut. This is a British trio who call themselves Right Said Fred and I'm Too Sexy.
Casey's Top 40.
On Casey's Top 40, I'm Casey Kasem. Well, now we're up to the song I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred, an act led by two brothers named Fred and Richard Fairbrass who keep themselves too sexy with their other job. The song is a novelty hit of sorts about the world of high-fashion modeling where egos are right out of control. And the two brothers took a look at this world and decided, hey, that's pretty funny. So they came up with a song that makes fun of the idea of someone thinking that they're too sexy for their red sports car, too sexy for their designer clothes, and even too sexy for their cat. And that's not a world that the Fairbrass brothers are singing about from a distance. Performing is simply their latest job. Their other career is building bodies for a living. They run a popular workout center in South London called The Dance Attic. It's a spot for aerobic workouts, for using Nautilus equipment and specialized cardiovascular machines like the Stairmaster. London rockers like Mick Jagger, Sting, and David Bowie have been known to show up there. They go there to get rid of a few excess pounds or build up some muscles, reduce their waistlines. In general, get themselves too sexy, which is what the Fairbrass brothers are singing about in their first top 10 hit. Strutting up 2 notches to number 6 this week on Casey's Top 40. Here are Fred and Richard Fairbrass and guitarist Rob Manzoli. The trio Right Said Fred.
Hits from coast to coast.
American Top 40 with The Shadow. $825. That's what it cost to make the second biggest single in England last year, $825. The second biggest single was Right Behind Everything I Do by Bryan Adams, and the Fairbrass brothers, Richard and Fred, were working in the studio with their friend, guitarist Rob Manzoli. They all know their way around the studio. We've mentioned before that they've toured with some of the biggest names in music. Now, meanwhile, they also run a gym in London, a gym where a lot of models work out. So there they were in the studio working on music, and they took a break, and they were kidding around about those models over at the gym. And Richard started to strut around, his fingers caressing his shirt while he pouted, "I'm too sexy for this shirt." Suddenly, they had an idea. And talk about great investments. For $825, they recorded what went on to become the second biggest hit of the year at home in England. A hit record. I think everybody wonders what it must be like to have just one hit. One hit. Imagine how it would change your life. Or would it? With that in mind, we asked Right Said Fred. We talked to Fred, the bass-playing Fairbrass brother, and he told us, "Our song's done really well throughout Europe, Australia, and now America, and our lives have changed fairly dramatically. It's quite hard to shop now. We get harassed a lot, which is great. That's a sign that our profile is high. We've been doing a lot of interviews, appearances, and signing autographs, but sometimes you just want to shop." Well, it's not just their hit, it's the video. The video is getting played and seen all the time. Now, their partner, Rob Manzoli, looks like the typical guitar-playing, long-haired rocker type, but Fred and his brother Richard are two buffed-up, built-up, bald bodybuilder types, which in public, of course, makes them a bit conspicuous. Fred says, "We don't blend. Blending isn't what we do. I often wear a baseball cap, which sort of hides the head, but now I've had so many photographs taken with the hat on, it doesn't make a great deal of difference. I think I do best in a wig, a nice long blonde wig. Maybe I'll try a miniskirt as well, go for broke."
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Mark Elliott in this week for Casey Kasem. Casey's Top 40 originates in Hollywood. Dancing down 6 notches to number 36 is a group that originated in London. Surprisingly, they didn't get their unusual name from the group member named Fred, but from a 1962 British novelty hit titled Right Said Fred.
America's Top Hits.
9 years ago this week, back in 1992, one of the top hits in the USA was by the only act we know of, led by a pair of bodybuilders, singing and dancing bodybuilders. The trio called Right Said Fred is led by brothers Fred and Richard Fairbrass. The brothers had moved to London from the English countryside to become musicians, but after they joined a local gymnasium to work on some muscles, they found themselves in the workout business as well. They managed the gym while working on their music, and along with Rob Manzoli, they came up with a muscle-bound single that was a huge novelty hit back in 1992. 9 years ago this week, it was one of the top hits in the USA. Here's Right Said Fred with I'm Too Sexy.